So this is your hanging station. It is an S-tag station. This is our terminal. This is our printer. I'd like to first focus on the printer. The printer is where your labels will feed from, and there are a few things I'd like to point out about this printer. To open it, it's pretty easy. You press that open button. It will clamshell up so that you have easy access to change your tags. This is a very important piece of the printer. This is your thermal head. What this thermal head does is it gets hot or warm and it burns the image onto the thermal tags. Inevitably, someone is going to open this printer up, look at that thermal head and say, oh, I don't like the dust on that thermal head. They're going to take their finger and run it across that thermal head. It's not going to burn them, not going to hurt them. What will happen is the oil from their fingers will remain on that thermal head and prevent it from being able to apply the appropriate heat needed to create that image on the tags. When that happens, you will have tags that print with lines in the barcode. So I suggest each morning a manager or production manager walk around, have a look at each tag terminal. You've got a hanging station and a wears station. So just have a look at the tags coming out of the printer. If they look great, that's fine. Leave it alone. If there are lines through the barcode, get a Q-tip, 90% or higher isopropyl alcohol. Dip that Q-tip in the alcohol, allow it to dry for a moment, and just rub that Q-tip across the thermal head so that it will get rid of all of the oil. So that is piece number one. That's very important. The other, as important as this piece, are these green guides that you see here. So in order to change the tag stock, I am going to first pull this piece, just a little pressure, and it will open up. I'm going to roll the tags back so we can see the inside. Built into this printer are some guides, and they always need to be just like that. So they need to be in this position with these guides, which follow each other. This guide needs to have its point towards the circle, not the square. Someone is going to move either of those. It's very easy to do. As well as they can move these guides. When that happens, your printer is going to go into error. It will not print. It'll say paper jam, and the very first thing you need to check are those guides. So I want these bottom guides to always be as far to the right as they will go. And you can feel it when you touch it. Don't force them. You can feel that click. I'll then close this and move this piece back over to the circle. And you can feel it click. I think you probably heard it. So that is the first troubleshooting part and one of the most important parts of this printer. So if your printer goes into error with paper jam, that's the first thing you check. Let's put a new roll of tags in. We'll take this one out. The way I like to do it is lift up. I'll hold this side in my right hand, tilt this over. I have a latch that holds that tag roller in place. I will open that latch, pull this piece off, and move it out of the way. So still in my right hand, I have this piece. I have a new roll of tags. This green piece needs to fit inside the cardboard core. So when you get a new roll of tags, you're going to have, let's see if I've got one here, you're going to have a piece of tape holding the labels together. I don't want that tape running through my printer. So I am, and there's our piece of tape here, I'm going to take anything foreign off of the labels and tear those tags off and discard them because I do not want that running through my printer. So I have my new roll of tags. They always feed off the bottom, and a good analogy was made yesterday, like a toilet paper roll, but only upside down in some people's opinion. So I will take my piece, tilt the labels over, and I want to put that piece so that the core is around that green piece on the tag holder. Sometimes it takes 3 hands to do this. So this piece has slots or guides. You can put it on wrong. You could put it on like that, and that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So that's not going to fit in the printer. What you want to do is get your guides lined up so that, there we go. We've got symmetry, and we've got both round edges together, flat part down, and I've got both my green guides within the core of the tags. I can now push on this right side and it will self-center. Again, I then take that locking piece, lock it in place. You can see that guide is not in well enough, so I want to open it up again, push, squeeze, and lock. Now I'm perfectly centered within my tag roll. The green guides are in the core. So I'll take my labels that have rolled off, as not to waste because they're not inexpensive. This piece can only go in one way. I want the curves toward the front of the printer. Within this printer, I'm going to tilt a bit just so that that tag holder fits within these holders. So I've got these little grooves on this tag holder here and here that I want to ride or sit loosely so that our tags will flow in those guides. So that is putting the tag stock on the tag holder. I then raise my lever up. This lever just holds the tags in place. Leave maybe 1 or 2 tags hanging out with the perforation on the tear bar. Close your tag holder. You also have these 2 guides that will slide together. I just want to squeeze them together at the same time, and you see I've got a torn tag. But I want to squeeze them just enough so that my tags don't flip back into the printer. So I'll pull out a little more because of that bad tag. That's it. We've put a new roll of labels in. So now, closing the lid. This is an industrial printer. You can close it, and it made a little click. But if I press feed, it's telling me my head is open, so I'm not completely closed. Put a little force on it so that the display says online. And you can do it in one motion. Don't be afraid of it. Just don't beat it with a hammer. That's it. That's all you need to do. That is changing tag stock, the things you need to be aware of with the thermal head. And one last suggestion, do not use canned air because there are other sensors in this printer. If you blow it out with canned air, that dust that's going to accumulate will get on those other sensors that you can't get to, that you can't see. It's been suggested that we get a very small vacuum, and when you get dust, which you will because these tags produce dust, just vacuum that dust out. Anything that you see that needs cleaning, 90% alcohol. One last thing I'll talk about is this feed roll, and you can see the dust I'm talking about. This feed roll is rubber, so no chemicals, nothing like that. Just 90% alcohol. Get a soft rag, wipe it off. It can turn if you're careful. You can use your thumb and turn it very gently and wipe it off with alcohol if it's concerning to you. So I wouldn't clean anything prematurely. If there's an issue, then clean it. But don't over clean your printers because the less we touch those parts, the longer they're going to last.